Watch this video.
I never discuss three things.
Tell me.
My money.
Mm-hmm.
My money.
Mm-hmm.
My money. Tell a man how much I earn.
Why not? What's wrong with that?
For what?
If you're gonna be with that man, you won't discuss your finance with him?
Why?
Why not? Like if you ever get to, want to date a man and be with a man, you will never discuss your finances with him?
For what?
Just so you
Like
know.
how much I have in my account and all those kind of things?
Yeah.
For what?
You wouldn't do that?
Yeah, and I don't want him to discuss his with me either.
So you wouldn't want to
wanna
know
know
how
his
much your
earning.
husband is earning?
Why? No, but why?
So your husband shouldn't know how much you're earning either.
For what?
You're in a partnership. That's your husband.
What has that got
You're
to do with
together.
anything?
You're building a life together.
Yeah.
So a certain celebrity has been trending. I don't want to mention the name. Eventually, we know what we're talking about, right? And for obvious reasons, she's been trending because of a statement she made that she's not going to disclose her financial earnings with her husband, and she doesn't also want him to discuss hers. He's with hers. And for some reason, social media has gone bizarre over that statement. A lot of influencers are talking about it. Blogs have carried it. People are just going crazy over that one statement. And I really want to ask, what did she say that was wrong? Why is everybody going crazy? Why are the haters hating and why are the potatoes potating? A lady said what she feels is ideal for her and whoever she's going to be with. That's on them. But for some reason, everybody is going wild about it. Why?
Yeah. Are you saying that we should not have a reference point as to what is right or what is wrong? Because you're saying what is good for them. I think every system...
No, but I said what is... That's why I said, why
Exactly,
is
that's
everybody
where
going bizarre about it?
Exactly. This is why people are going bizarre. There are... We cannot really save our society from the level of moral decadence if we don't have a representation of what morality should look like. As I always said, it might just be off point, but I want to use that as an example. God will always say, be holy for I am holy. So the reference point to your holiness is God himself. If this God can be holy, then he's telling you, this is the way I am, this is where you should be. In our society, if we must maintain certain level, if we must maintain this level of morality and discipline, we must have a representation as to what...
I like that you said that.
Yes,
it might be off point because we've not even said that you're already veering off course.
I'm not veering.
You're veering because here's why I said you're veering, because this is not a question of who is holy and who is unholy.
Yes.
This is not a question of what is this is not a question of what is sinful or who is sinful and who isn't. It's a question of preference.
Yes.
For what may work for the two people that are in that partnership.
That's what I'm telling you.
What is the question?
It's not about what works or what doesn't. That's why now
But you're not the one in the marriage.
we have statements
you're
like
not the partner that
I'm
she's
coming.
talking about.
That's why now we have statements like my truth. My truth. Truth is not your truth. Truth is absolute.
Okay.
Yes, it cannot be your truth. If it is truth, it's truth.
But I'm saying that your analogy of bringing holiness and this thing.
You're asking why the internet is going bizarre because of what she said.
And going bizarre
we
doesn't mean
recognize
that
that there are ways. No,
there are people who
we recognize
also
that
agree with what she's saying.
Exactly. We recognize that there is a way that something should work. Something cannot go bizarre if we all agree. It shouldn't have been a problem. All of us would have read it and say, yes, you are right. Why is it that there is an opera? It's because there is a way that something is expected to
There's an
work.
opera, but some people are okay with it.
Some people are okay and some people are not okay
That's the
with
divide
it.
I'm talking about.
Exactly. There must be a divide because there is a way that something was supposed to work.
So what is wrong there? So what is the wrong? Pinpoint the wrong thing in that statement. What is
I'm just
what
asking
is
the
wrong?
question about why the internet is bizarre.
Okay, so Mr. James.
Yeah, okay. When it comes to the issue of life, I've learned that there is no particular lane that leads straight. So let me just put these examples. Okay, example now, I want to go to Use Market. Use Market does not just have one
particular route.
Understand? Because at the end of the day, everybody will still get to Use Market in different way. Now, you see, what that lady says is, this is what she believes will work for her. And I sure do believe that God had also created
a man that will align
to her.
God have not created
calm down
it.
now. You've made your point. Answer your own question.
Understand, Mr. Bassey, you know this thing about God that we really talk about. I believe that in the days of their Elijah and the rest, there are more people that were still faithful, spiritually lead and spiritually powerful. Understand? Than their Elijah and the rest. But God intended to use this set of people. And I still believe that there are people that were still closest to God's heart than David, Abraham, and the rest. Understand? So the way of God most times in life and direction, it is not even the perfect way. And I still believe that David had better sons than Solomon, than God still choose the Solomon. So when
your point exactly.
Yeah. So my own point is when it comes to this particular way of this lady's life and what she wants, I still believe that she can still go into that marriage
and it will work.
And it will still work and still be perfect. Now you cannot sit down there and discredit everything that does not align with your own pattern of
because
belief.
somebody else's opinion.
Because somebody else's. So you see, I will not judge her because there is someone out there for her.
I like the fact that this is coming from a man.
I refuse to be rage baited.
Hold on. Nobody's rage baiting you.
I refuse to be rage baited.
Nobody's rage baiting you.
No,
I like
I'm
the
not
fact
rage
that
baiting
it's
you,
coming
my
from a man.
Okay.
A man is a person that is a man that just said this thing now, and the heavens did not fall.
Yes.
A man is the one who is saying it's okay for you not to disclose.
It's because we have an emotional response to topics that borders.
It's not about
marriage and
emotion. No,
relationship.
it's not emotional.
Why is it not emotional?
It's not
Should I
emotion.
give you-
It's preference.
Okay.
Everybody has what they think, regardless of. That's how the other day we were having a conversation, and you said that there's nothing wrong with eating bread and stew outside in public, and then somebody else says, I'm not okay with you eating bread and stew, and I can't be with somebody who.
And the person that eats bread and stew is married, but the person that said he doesn't like it is not married.
It doesn't
He would have been married. That's my point.
It doesn't matter. The person is only saying where personal preference is concerned, this will not work for me.
It keeps you single
And
for a very long time.
It's a lie. It doesn't mean that the person is
Very,
going to
very
end.
long
It's a
time.
lie. It doesn't mean that the person is going to marry wrong or the person is going to remain single for the rest of their life. We have to create a scenario where we understand part of maturity is understanding that people can have different opinions and views, and you'll be okay with it. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you. No, Mr. James.
And how you
let me tell you something.
An example.
No,
that's
wait,
why we have different religions
example.
today, because there has to be that room to accommodate other people's opinions and perspectives.
I'm coming. Do you know the reason it's always difficult for me personally to talk about marriage and relationships to a heterogeneous audience is because
to a what?
Heterogeneous audience.
It will most likely always be a heterogeneous audience.
I'm coming. It's because
99% chance.
Wait, okay. I'm coming. It's because I said some time ago that our generation, we have an emotional response to almost every topic, especially the ones that borders around marriage, relationships, and all that. And I said something when we were starting. I said something about absolutes. I said something about truth. And I said that there are some systems and structures that the way they function does not depend on how you feel or the way they were meant to function. It's not something you subjectivized. It is the subjectivization of truth and what morality should look like is why our society is in moral decadence. Let me tell you something. You have a phone. A phone was meant to work in a particular way, and when you refuse to use it in that particular way, you will not benefit fully from what that phone is meant for. This phone particularly, the power button is at the right side. If you continually press the left side, it will not work. The reason I'm saying this thing is that now that we've allowed people to subjectivize a lot of things that should not have been subjectivized, there's never been a time in the human history and existence that we have the level of divorce that we have right now. But now, a lot of people seems to be smart. A lot of people
I'm coming from the perfect marriage
let me
or
finish.
not the perfect
Let me finish. A lot of people are now saying that the way our parents did marriages, we are not the right way. But at that time when they were doing it that wrong way, that we were not supposed to be, they were not right way, we had more responsible children, we had more mature children, we had more responsible mothers and fathers, we had a stable community and coexistence more than we have now. Now we have a lot of weak people who have emotional response to virtually everything, and there is no sense of morality and discipline in children. It's not because that they don't have the ability to do that. It's because we've trained them in a way that they've subjectivized a lot of things. This is how this system works, and you must follow it like this so that you benefit fully. And now let me land.
But the discipline
when we are talking,
I'm telling you, yes. When we are talking about marriage, let me tell you. Do you know why?
So just so you know, both of them are married.
A lot of
going long, and the single person here.
Mr. James, do you know the problem
now
is that
the pattern in your own marriage, it is not the same pattern in my own marriage.
No two marriages are the same. You know that, right?
Do you know?
No two marriages are the same.
And so far, okay, now
based on the parties involved.
Now, see, if you want to talk about the marriage now, I believe I've been married quite longer than you, and my marriage has not broken. Family are happy.
Oh my God.
Everybody is doing well, and I'm still a guy man in that marriage. My pattern of belief in my marriage
May not
that I
necessarily
saw,
work for you.
it works for me. If I'm to
Exactly.
carry your own pattern into my marriage, maybe
Maybe
by
if I
now,
don't break up,
It would have been
the marriage will
sweeter.
not scatter.
never. It will not be
Never.
Sometimes you have been sweeter
because
than
my
it
life
is.
is
I don't
sweeter
understand.
and my marriage is sweeter.
So
It's
you're
not
saying
about
that
your
yours is
life.
the
No,
ultimate.
no,
Which one
it's
is
about your
what-
life.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you.
No,
No, but you know what are you
Understand.
saying?
No.
Marriage
Don't
that is
judge your
sweeter.
own
Understand
Marriage that is
what
sweeter.
I'm understand what I'm
Because
saying.
listen,
You know I was just
excuse
joking on
me
that
now.
one. But let me tell you something. I'm not
What
trying
I'm saying
to.
is,
I'm
I
not
say my pattern
criticizing.
is good.
If you understand what I'm saying.
So for this particular lady,
If
it
you-
works. Maybe now, if she's the kind of lady that goes into a relationship announcing her accounts out, how much she earns,
And people start taking
the man
advantage of her.
and it does not work for her, and everybody will say, "But she's a good girl." But
I'm
she's
saying,
but she's-
do
so
not
now she said,
have-
"This is what I want," and I believe that when God created man, God gave us the power to choose choices.
Yeah.
Who you want to be,
Yeah.
how you want to lead,
What you want to- yeah.
what you want to do, how you want
Exactly.
to bring your kids up.
The way I run my family is not what we are talking about here.
Okay.
We're talking about how families should be run.
So how is
Because-
how
How should
the
families
family
be run?
Exactly what we were talking about. You
Yeah.
are saying that, yeah, because the way you're running your family, it's not what we're talking about. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
the way I should run my family. There are things that are not negotiable in marriage.
Like what?
Right?
Like what and what?
We're talking about morality. You should not marry
But
somebody.
there's nothing immoral
I'm
about
coming.
this now.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are things that can be changed.
Yeah.
It's not like we are talking about somebody's character and personality.
Yeah.
Those things are two different things. You should know the ones that you can handle and the ones that you cannot handle, irrespective of the uniqueness of that marriage.
Yeah.
There are just some things that should be constant. That's why I'm mentioning morality, particularly because it boils down to how children are being raised in that particular marriage. You cannot, a father cannot have different moral values, and a mother will have different moral values, so that this one will be trying to push their own narrative. This one will be trying to push raising confused and disorganized
What you are
children.
talking
What I'm-
about
no,
is
That has nothing to
money.
do with
It's
it. You say,
money.
okay, well, let him make his
when I'm
point.
talking,
It's more that they're
what,
talking
what
about.
I'm saying, wait, what I'm saying in essence is,
Yeah.
there are things that are
Make your point.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about a lot of time when we want to say something about marriage, you say this is Christian marriage.
Yeah.
Besides, I think there is nothing
Like
about marriage that is not Christian, because marriage is not started in a secular world.
Yeah.
The person that instituted marriage is God that instituted marriage.
But
Yeah.
there are
Relationship
Muslims
started
that are
before
married
God.
today now.
I'm coming. I'm not saying that Muslims are not married.
so what-
I'm talking about values.
Hope
Right.
that this marriage
Now, what I'm
started
saying,
before Christ even came in, there was marriage.
No.
Ha!
Before
please,
Christ-
before we
I'm
even
coming.
start, people
Yes.
that,
Let's not go there.
Please
But
calm
what
down.
I'm saying in
You
essence
know,
is,
marriage-
No,
what I'm
you
saying
can- you
is in
cannot- you
essence
cannot-
is,
you know,
let me tell you.
You cannot totally remove
Marriage
say
has been
that
existing.
there's nothing unchristian about or how do you
No,
say?
I'm not
Because
saying
there
that
are people of
I'm not
other this thing that
that's what
are
I'm saying.
and
No,
it's working.
when I mean Christian
that's why that God does not
particularly,
recognize them
what I'm
either.
saying particularly is God that instituted marriage. A lot of religion, they have a way to access God. So when I mention Christian, it's because I'm
Yeah.
a Christian.
Yeah.
That does not mean that Muslims don't know how to do marriage. Not what I'm saying. That does not mean Buddhists don't know how to do marriage. All of them, they have a way of saying this is
Accessing
the way they
God,
connect
yes.
to God. But I'm saying that it is God Himself. Whenever I say Christian, I'm talking about God. It's just because it's my belief. When we're talking about God, it's God that instituted Himself. So if we must do marriage, we must do it as the way that God wants us to do it. Because God is in a marriage. That is why now, the reason we have a lot of divorces right now is because there is no commitment. But a marriage must have 100% commitment. And people will now ask, why is commitment in this conversation? Let me tell you. I can literally
You're
live a
sweating.
marriage. You wish that be
You're
sweating.
sweating.
No, you need to say.
Yeah, let me tell you.
All the
Because-
pain.
No, we let it come out.
Because you know what?
No,
Because in
we are trying to address
of
Wait,
marriage.
let me
Make
this mic.
it
In
because
the
I want
concept
to
of
ask
marriage
him a
inside the
follow-up
Bible.
question.
Yes, no, I'm
inside the
expecting-
Bible, there is no place that they say tell your husband your account or that it is highest wife
those
submit.
things, no.
Yeah, so-
Wife
those
submit.
things-
And I've
You
seen
see-
a
you
couple.
see-
Listen,
I didn't even want to mention
no.
submit too, because a lot of
No,
ladies
no,
they have
no,
problem.
it's-
Wait,
no.
I didn't want to
guys,
mention
you
it.
guys,
You wait.
you
Mr.
guys
Chris,
calm
Mr.
down.
J, Mr. J.
Hey God, people should
Eh?
calm
A lot
down.
of times,
I have
listen,
seen a
listen,
marriage.
listen.
You have-
listen.
Wait, let
I
me
have
finish. You
seen
finished,
a
though.
One
marriage
at a
that
time. One at a time.
Wait.
One at a time.
once they pay the wife, she will pack all the money
And submit to the
she will
husband.
deposit
It's not what we are talking
inside
about.
the
Hold on,
husband's
now,
account.
please.
You are
And
talking
the
it from the-
husband now has a friend,
You're
and
sweating
that
too
friend
much. Calm
is
down now.
married
Watermelon.
to my own
Calm
friend.
down.
This guy is pushing
Now
a
the
narrative
friend
here.
now
People don't know the
wants-
implication of
You're
this
going to
conversation.
have
to do
your
the
turn.
same, and
He
you always
Okay,
not doing the
he
same.
doesn't have his turn.
Wait,
Because
now.
your
Hasn't
pattern is
he?
different.
Hasn't
Oh, yeah,
he?
now talk.
Hasn't he?
Because I am ready for you.
Hasn't
Now the moral decadence we will moral
You guys-
decay everything.
you guys are not listening.
And you see that
People are not
there is
listening.
cleanness
Mr.
in
James.
You
this
are not
pathway.
listening
Mr. James.
to me.
Understand?
Calm down. Calm down.
Now I want to
It's okay.
allow
Calm
you
down.
talk. Now I know now you
Mr.
have
James, from
energy
now on,
that
you're
for
banned
you.
from saying anything.
Okay.
Let him make
I'm
his
with
point.
you
See,
now.
as he's sweating. And you are not even sweating. Make your
It's
point.
because he's not passionate about the things
I am
he's saying.
It's
You
passionate
cannot
in
be.
making his
You cannot.
point.
No.
So
You
please,
cannot
where
be
are
as
my
passionate
points that
because
come from?
I'm.
So where are
asking-
my points that coming from? If
This
I'm
is what I'm
not
saying.
passionate about
Let me
it,
tell you.
In somebody's
Yeah.
voice,
In
that I
marriage-
know, I wanna.
Yeah.
I
In,
want to ask
in
you
marriage,
Yeah.
you ask the follow-up question.
Oh, yeah.
In marriage,
Yes, my
as I
brother.
said,
Yeah.
there are systems and structures that are not designed to make you happy.
Yeah.
And the reason we fail in those things is because we try to subjectivize them as
Yeah.
to doing it the way we perceive to. When you talk about doing marriage in a certain way and all that, those things don't have anything to do with the core issues in marriage. There are things that are non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And people will say, how is finances not a part of the things that are
Non-negotiables.
non-negotiable?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there are levels of commitment that you commit that those things will not be a problem, that it will be a tool. Money was supposed to be a tool in marriage and not and not what we
the
are.
entirety of it.
Exactly. It's not what we are talking about here.
Yeah.
There is no how I will love somebody and I'm committed to this marriage and I want to do it for a very long time and we want to train responsible children from that marriage. And here we are talking about hiding my finances and not hiding my finances. That means when it comes to running that particular family, it's always going to be issues when we are discussing them because we have to pay rent, we have to pay the children's school fees and all of those things. In that kind of situation, if there is no commitment in that particular marriage, it would always be an issue. For
But
example,
she's
look
not
at
saying
a
that she's not
marriage.
going to become one, that she's not going to take up financial
Those things-
responsibilities
it's
in the
not what
home.
we are
That's
talking
not what
about.
she
It's not what
said.
we're talking about. I'm talking about transparency in marriage. Those things people will trivialize it because people don't do the full consequences of not being
There's nothing like
transparent
you
in
people.
marriage.
I've not been married before, so I don't know.
Exactly, that's why you should just listen.
Nothing like that.
That's why you should just listen.
I'm
That is
not
why
also
you-
allowed
you know
to
what I'm
have
saying?
my
There.
own personal
I-
preference and
This,
perspective.
what I'm
I
saying in
can't be
essence,
listening.
you cannot really,
I cannot
you
be
cannot
listening
really,
because
you
I
cannot
have
really.
I want to ask you a
Wait,
question.
Yeah.
this
I want to ask you a
the thing is that
Yeah.
this thing, when you prioritize those personal finances more than what marriage is required, like I said, transparency, there's going to be bigger issues. That's why we have the level of divorce we have because people, when I have my own thing,
Excuse me.
and the person has their own thing, it's easy to detach.
Hold on
because there's no
now.
level of the level of commitment
I've,
that was
I've missed,
required
I've missed
to
my,
mark
I've missed my follow-up question
to
twice,
to
and I don't
make
want
that
to
marriage
forget it
work
again.
is not there. That's exactly in a godly marriage. These things are not supposed to be a conversation. That's why the reason I'm mentioning godly, I don't think any marriage should function out of the godly person
Because
because
Mhm.
it's
I
not the
think
devil
that-
that instituted
But then,
marriage.
Mr.
It's
James,
not the
wait, hold
society. Now we go to the government to take marriage certificates and all of those things. But the first person that instituted marriage that brought two persons together was God, and there was no anything hidden. As I said, when I was getting married, one of the things I was advised by my dad is that there is no marriage that will work that is not naked, right? If you start hiding things, because life is in a way that life is unpredictable. If you don't build this commitment at this particular point in time, I'm not talking about finances. A lot of people say because you want to know the woman's finances and all of those things. Besides, I don't want to go to full details as to how we manage finances in my marriage and all of those things. But I'm
No,
saying
you don't-
that
you
if you're
don't
not
need to.
transparent enough in your marriage, bigger issues are going to come, and small issues will break that marriage. And I know they don't like it, and I know they don't care because companionship doesn't mean anything to them. This generation is extremely broken to the point that things that are supposed to be important to them are not important to them. Money is now more important than everything.
generation
That's why a young
talk.
lady can actually say, if he doesn't have this, he's not going to. Without thinking about other important issues of life. That is particularly what I'm saying.
Basi,
If you
can I
continue
calm
with
down
this
and
kind
let
of
me ask you what I want to
mindset,
ask you.
where we are going, very.
So you
So
believe,
wait, first, let me ask him what I want to ask him.
Okay,
Please. Just
you-
hold your thoughts.
That's
So
not
earlier,
talking,
when you were talking, you talked about how that in our parents' generation, they were more responsible people, more stable families, and by extension, stable communities and all of that because they were doing something right. No doubt that they were doing something right. But do you also know that there are a good number of people who, in that generation today, will tell their children not to walk in the way that they walked because they think they didn't do it right. So there were women who, so I read something earlier today. The person said, it's not, sometimes it's not love or commitment that keeps some of these marriages going on. It's ego. Sometimes they were not in it.
how
Hold on,
does
I'm trying to
ego,
explain.
like
Yes,
ego?
I'm trying to explain. They were not in it, or some of those marriages that we make references to, they didn't last because they were so good, or they're doing it better than us now. Some of them lasted because, I don't have a means to train my children after now, so I have to stay because of the children. Even when the circumstances were not favorable, they still stayed. So it's not a function of, I'm trying to say, it's not a function of the fact that our parents had it so good because they knew all that they were doing. That's not really the truth. Today, a lot of women are regretting their parent generation, are regretting some of these marriages that we are even today making reference to. right? So I just wanted to throw that in there because you had earlier said that the rate of divorce is higher now because we're not doing what our parents were doing at the time. There are women that will sit their children down today and say, this was what I did that I don't want you to do. Because this is what I saw. Even if you didn't see it and the society didn't see it that way, they felt, oh, the marriage was so good and perfect and it lasted. But if I could go back, I'd rather not be in that marriage today. So ask your question.
Did you ask me a question? You just said what you wanted to say. Do you wanted me to respond to this
I
particular
don't
thing
need
you
to
said?
respond. I'm
So
saying
you think that what you said is how everything is?
Listen.
That's not what
No,
I'm saying.
I'm trying to
I'm
say.
only
You
saying
said-
you,
I
when
want
you
to say
said what you
something
said,
now.
you
Yeah.
didn't. You said it holistically. You did not make.
I'm
I
talking
want to say
about,
something.
you did
as
not
I
make
said,
reference